Rant mode on. Wrestling nerd mode on. Both together, that's going to be fun. Wrestlepalooza is back. After 25 years, Wrestlepalooza is coming back. Just when WWE is heading over to the ESPN network. And yeah, ESPN is selling Wrestlepalooza like the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl of suplexes, as you know, of course, fake punches, real contacts, all those things. Yes, I know it's not real. It's real to me, damn it. But it doesn't really matter. The way ESPN sells it, it's like a real big, huge event, which, well, in fairness, it is an event. However, it's not about like an old pay-per-view friend returning. It's more about platform politics, why is it happening, corporate hedging, what's in it for the businesses, and I'm not misspelling or misspeaking, $1 billion spectacle. Sawadee Krab, and welcome to another episode here for the Funky Pod, Mindful Media and Communication. And well, one of my favorite rap quotes out there, don't call it a comeback. We've been here for years. Well, in this case, actually, you can call it a comeback because Wrestlepalooza has been gone for 2.5 decades. And looking at the name, let's be honest, there's a reason why you get rid of something called the Palooza, okay? But right now, when it's coming back, it's pure nostalgia branding. And nostalgia branding works for everything. Cobra Kai, whatever in any Netflix show, right? WWE events, UFC throwbacks, anything, but bringing back the Palooza? Now, how does WWE try to get the new fans to embrace nostalgia? Well, one word, 2 words, 0 words. The guy you can see, John Cena, is the bridge. Yeah, the fans, now that he's a face again, loving John Cena, the hero, and the older fans, they embrace him now, and the younger fans, they meme him. But John Cena is the bridge that brings together people who actually seen Wrestlepalooza back in the day and people who now make memes about it. Also, interestingly enough, WWE is under the same umbrella corporation that the UFC is, called TKO Group Holdings. Even more interesting, the UFC's been with ESPN for the last 4 or 5 years, now exits ESPN to move to Paramount, and now WWE enters ESPN. So TKO, the parent company, being like, yeah, we still get the money from ESPN, just with a different brand right now. So we're on ESPN and we're on Paramount. The 2 big platforms. What you want. We're doing everything right. Also, what I find interesting, the way ESPN now treats that, I usually don't want to be too clickbaity, but ESPN is bleeding subscribers right now. Okay, people are unsubscribing, canceling subscriptions left and right. I think it's fair to say. At least anecdotal evidence, people I know, when I look at my circle, less and less people stick with the subscriptions. And now that you don't need it for UFC anymore, right? So, of course, they have to look into like, okay, what else can we do? And those sticky live events are, of course, a good way of getting people to your platform. I mean, that's basically what Netflix is doing as well, right? Sticky live events, getting people to your platform. They subscribe, maybe they cancel again, doesn't matter. At least they're on the platform for now. Yeah, so you're kind of getting desperate for some kind of engagement chatter outside the NFL/NBA bubble that you always have. So now the question is, so why now? And why Wrestlepalooza? Well, because what I said in the beginning, nostalgia is a shortcut. Nostalgia always works. And well, also because ESPN is starving, so it's also a reason why to do it. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about why Wrestlepalooza and why now. And as always, I bring to you a few theories. Okay, I'm gonna keep it short because I think in this case, while ESPN certainly feels like they're very smart about it, it's very much on the nose. Ariel Helwani, that's for you. So, Wrestlepalooza, nostalgic event. We said so as much, right? Nostalgia economics always pay off. Most of the time pay off. Why? Because you use proven IPs, intellectual properties. That's always a safe investment. And wrestling, especially WWE, AEW not as much, so WWE has a decades-deep archive that's just perfect for what we in marketing would call multi-generational marketing. You can pull from the archives the old stuff that relates to me, the Ultimate Warrior shaking the ropes at Wrestlepalooza, or Hulk Hogan rest in whatever you want to rest in. Or then the new guys, right? Dominic Mysterio, now double triple A champion. Congratulations, champion. So yes, a huge archive that you can pull from. The old stuff, the new stuff, you can blend it together. Amazing for multi-gen marketing. You have a thing that we, the marketing people, call eventization. Yeah, I hate those words too, believe me. That's why I don't work in agencies anymore. So in this fractured streaming landscape, mega events, they stand out. Because you have like 5 gazillion different streaming services. But if you have mega events, just like this past weekend, we had Canelo versus Crawford on Netflix, that stands out. It makes people turn from all the platforms. I have to watch Netflix right now, okay? And wrestling fits that perfectly because wrestling is engineered spectacle. It's ideal for this attention economy that now ESPN, even though they don't want to, that ESPN is also competing in. And yet they say they're not part of that, but Stephen A. Smith yelling at you all the time is exactly part of the attention economy, okay? So that is the attention economy. So ESPN's strategy, which was once the cathedral of legitimate sports, only real sports, is now leaning on performance sports, if you will, to hold attention, to hold subscribers. Isn't that funny? And you might think I'm hating wrestling. I know I'm a huge wrestling fan. I just find it funny how ESPN is coming around to like, hey, now we need wrestling to participate in this attention economy kind of thing. And again, John Cena is this cross-demographic anchor, I think. Because, I mean, if you look at like the demographics that would fit with me, we know him, hate him, love him, hate him, love him, hate him. Newer generations love him, hate him, make fun of him. So he's the cross-generation anchor that brings everything together. He's Attitude Era, like a relic of the Attitude Era, the Doctor of Psychonomics, and a meme-ready figure that fits so well in today's day and age. So John Cena is everything. And it's just perfect timing right now. But the thing is, nostalgia is one thing, but this whole deal with WWE also just really showed how high the stakes really are when it comes for the attention economy, ESPN being relevant, and so on. And while I was preparing this podcast, news broke about another WWE event, the biggest event of the year, the granddaddy of them all. If you're a wrestling fan, you already say it. If not, WrestleMania. WrestleMania is the biggest event that WWE has each year. It's the Super Bowl of fake fights. It's the Super Bowl of wrestling, okay? WrestleMania. It's in April every year. Runs for 2 days for a few years now. And WrestleMania 43 in 2027 will, for the first time ever, not be in the United States of America. It will be in... who is using sports to whitewash everything? Exactly, it will be in Saudi Arabia, in Riyadh. So for the first time ever outside of North America. Also, by the way, Royal Rumble 2026, next year in January, also in Riyadh. One wonders why. So now why does it matter? A bit without hating on it, without hating on Saudi money, whitewashing and stuff like this. That's not, we will have a different podcast on that. We actually already had a podcast on the Funked Pod about whitewashing during the World Cup 2022. So check that out if you're interested. The football World Cup, the actual football. But now why do we talk about it? Why does it matter? Why does it matter where WWE goes? Well, because it's a strategy. First of all, it's a global expansion strategy. Obviously, WWE plays international markets. Well, we are aware of that, right? But TKO, the parent company of WWE, remember, the one that also owns UFC, they have a long-term partnership with the GEA, the General Entertainment Authority, which is from Saudi Arabia. And they just write the biggest checks in any company's history, usually, right? Here, take $50 trillion. I'm making this up, but probably not enough. Take those dollars, send us your events, then we show how awesome we are. Yeah, so that's called, I said whitewashing, it's called sportswashing, right? That's the term, sportswashing. They've been doing this with the UFC for a few years now. They've been doing this with WWE for a few years on a smaller scale, and now they go big with the Royal Rumble, the second biggest event every year, and WrestleMania, the biggest event of the year. So Saudi Arabia is leveraging basically the global entertainment to reframe its image from like, that's that state that kills people that are against it and that kills journalists and things like that, and that takes away passports from foreign workers and doesn't have any human rights, to, hey, look, they have amazing bling bling cool events, and look at how clean the streets are, and look how big the cars are, and look, there's a tiger in the palace, that is so funny, haha. So that's basically what they're trying to do, right? And who's falling for it? Everybody's falling for it, right? So Wrestlepalooza is not just a nostalgia ploy, it's like a smaller domino in a way, very, very, very bigger global play, okay? So it's like a small domino, like, hey, nostalgia, ESPN, ooh, cool. But on a grander scale of things, right, it sets into motion what all the other things that are happening as well. So now I promised you I bring a theory. Here you go. Theory in the house, okay? You ready? Okay, a few theories we talked about before. First of all, we talked about the media events theory before. Wrestlepalooza, WrestleMania Saudi Arabia, means it's like something like a ritual, okay? Media events are rituals, like the Super Bowl, for example, as well, the Eurovision Song Contest, things like that, the Football World Cup. So you get it. They are rituals, and rituals that everybody understands how to participate in. So if you interrupt rituals or use rituals to interrupt, then that means something special is happening. That's one thing. The second thing is that there's like what we call a communal focus with it, right? So you focus on the community part, like we're all part of that event, bringing people together. So whether you're in Kansas, yeehaw, is that the right thing to do in Kansas? I don't know. Whether you're in Kansas or in Riyadh, you're part of the big global community. We are all one, which is true if it weren't for the government. So that's number one, media events, okay? Bringing people together by money or by just great events, of course. Second one, Jenkins talks about convergence culture. Convergence culture means cultures coming together, bringing things together, converging, not diverging, converging. So WWE uses nostalgia, global expansion, the ESPN deal, streaming, memes, Twitch streaming as well, and so on, all at once to enhance, increase their global reach. So different channels for the same brand, the same kind of story that's being told to reach more audiences. Yeah, convergence culture in a nutshell. Okay. One of my favorites that I talked about a lot over the past few weeks and months, Cory Doctorow talked about enshittification. Enshittification, if you need more previous episodes in detail, enshittification means every platform goes through 3 stages, from like bringing value to the user to trying to make money to squeezing money out of the user when there's no one new signing up, for example. ESPN leaning now on WWE like it's a live rap. Like in WWE leveraging Saudi deals as like short-term cash infusion, even if it risks lots of backlash. They know how we feel about Saudi Arabia. They don't care. They want the money. Meaning, in the gentrification process, both seem to be closer to the end, right? Again, in the beginning means you give value to the user, then you have a big user base and you try to monetize, and then in the end, you're not getting more users, maybe even people jumping off, and you try to squeeze the rest out of it. So both platforms seem to be coming towards the end. One might be further towards the end than the other, but that's also why they try to kind of like work together to squeeze the rest out of what is there to be squeezed out of, okay? We have Guy Debord, our guy, Society of the Spectacle. You see, I'm bringing lots of theories in today that we discussed over the last few weeks, so if you want a more detailed breakdown, check out the previous episodes that we had them in all detail. Society of the Spectacle. The society, we, the audience, we love spectacles, right? We want to see crazy stuff that we don't know doing, but that we wish we could do, like jumping off the top rope, frog splash like Dominic Mysterio and winning the AAA championship. Campeones. Sorry, Dominic. Wrestling is pure spectacle. And now it doubles down because it's also political spectacle, not just entertainment, but also politics. So when sports entertainment becomes, what's the right word? Geopolitical branding, it's even more interesting. That wasn't planned, but let's be honest, we all kind of want to see how it plays out. And lastly, the political economy theory, I had in the last episode as well. Saudi Arabia paying like crazy sums, and in turn, WWE taking the money and prioritizing revenue over geography and over legacy and over fan expectations shows us one thing: money, money, money. That's Shane McMahon's theme song, if you don't know what I just did. So, turns out that in wrestling, kayfabe, mentioned in previous podcasts, if you don't know what it is, turns out that kayfabe isn't the fakest thing about wrestling. The real fake fantasy thing in wrestling is ESPN pretending that it's all about sports and not contracts, and that WWE cares about what people want and not just money. And culture's already reacting to that in ways that prove to be way bigger than just wrestling. What's happening? Well, the Cena memes are flooding before Wrestlepalooza. And they're not all nice memes, by the way. AW is adjusting programming to counter the hype. Also now turning up the nostalgia if it's possible with a brand that's 5 years old. But yes, YouTube nostalgia playlists trending. Yeah, fans reliving like those old matches. You see them popping up on YouTube all the time. ESPN promos blurring serious commentary with kayfabe hype. What's real? What's fake? Who knows? Reaction to WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia. Fans split between like, yes, they're in the making, the ones paid by WWE, and sports washing spectacle. Human rights critics calling it a new low for WWE. I would jump on that wagon. Saudi authorities are like, that's a cultural milestone, right? You have different angles. You know, framing theory, we talked about framing theory many a times. So right now, everyone's trying to frame the same thing that's happening from different points of view to make sure that frame fits their agenda setting, also discussed on this podcast. So from nostalgia to geopolitics, WWE is scripting way more than just matches. It's scripting political, I don't know, boundaries, bonds, whatever you might want to call it. So this leads me to my takeaway. Wrestlepalooza, nostalgia, great. Revival, all cool. Why right now? Because ESPN is holding on for a while. WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia, globalization, and I'm not calling it a society of a spectacle like Guy Debord. I want to call it politics of the spectacle. Something we have to see. I want to say what's happening next, but I mean, we've seen the World Cup there. What else? What else can they get? What else can they pay for? TKO, the parent company that's in control of WWE and UFC, hedging both scripted WWE and unscripted UFC events across rival platforms. How those platforms are okay with being played like that is also beyond me. I mean, I understand money, but still. And the question in the end, like, who wins? Is it John Cena? Is it Roman Reigns? Is it AW? None of them. The winners are, well, ESPN's contracts, at least as long as the advertising money comes in. And obviously Saudi Arabia's PR department. They're the real winners. Congratulations. That's it for my wrestling rant. And that's the bottom line. If you finish that sentence, then you're a real one, an OG in the wrestling game. I appreciate it. Leave a Stone Cold Stunner or a rock bottom or a like, share, and a follow. It would be very much appreciated. Leave a comment. That's the best thing you can do actually for us to reach a wider audience. That's the best thing and the most appreciated. Until then, stay safe, take care. Always kick out at 2 and we talk soon. Sorry, Cap.